It should only not be available if like YouTube removes it for copyright or whatever, but it should definitely be available for download.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do it over tomorrow.
Exactly, right. We'll do it all over again.
No, you know what? We'll have to talk sometime. When I first started podcasting, I had to call this couple back. I was like, I'm so sorry. And honestly, that's why I told you I'm so skeptical with Skype, because we recorded past 30 minutes. I was on the help desk. It was a long thing, but I was like, oh my God, I'm not using Skype ever again. But I couldn't find anything else and I ended up having to use it. But I learned so much about Skype and so much about GarageBand. I learned enough to want to forget all.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're live and I guess we can go ahead and get going if you're good to go.
All right. I am just putting everything on mute over here so we don't have any interruptions. But yes, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I will do the same. You know what? It really goes off the most are my notifications on my computer.
Yes, exactly. That's what I just sent. I just sent out mass family texts. Do not call me.
Okay. Let me make sure I'm saying your name right first. The most important thing. I'm either gonna underpronounce or overpronounce, and I don't want to do either.
Let's go for it.
I have you in places. Andrea Pugh.
You did it.
Is that right?
That was it right there. First try.
Oh, good. My wonder if my connection, because I'm on Wi-Fi. I wonder if I should just connect straight. I should have thought about that. Okay, well, let's pray for the Wi-Fi.
Yes, and mine too. Even though I'm sitting right next to the router, it just does what it wants. So.
My son's home from college. My daughter's here. My wife's working at home, and I'm like, I'm used to being the only one here, and I'm like,
exactly. Systems are overloaded for sure.
Yeah, so I turned off everything, but okay. All right, so Andrea Pugh-Kelley. So what I'll do is this is going to be a little different. I'm just going to kind of go into it because I'm going to kind of cut this up a little bit. Okay. I'll just do a really general intro for the podcast, and then we'll get into, I've got your information you sent me today. I'll briefly go over that, and then we just kind of get into it, going off of the notes that you left me on the direct message from Instagram, and we should not be too long.
Okay.
Not be too long. All right, so give me a few seconds and then we'll get started. But we are just want to make sure everything's going.
You're a little fuzzy, so your signal might be a little weak.
Really?
Oh, you just cleared up. Right as I said that, you just cleared up.
Let me see what I can do. I'm going to send a broadcast, tell everybody to get off the Wi-Fi for a second. And let me close the office door. Thanks. I'm really glad you told me about this because my fingers are crossed that this works really well because it's going to really meet a need for what I'm trying to accomplish. And if it gets me away from Skype,
and you can have up to 6 guests on here. So I found it to be really good.
Excellent. Let me do one last thing. Turn the light up just a second. All right. That's better. Okay. Well, let's rock and roll. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. Welcome to my Disney Brain. This is Kelly. This is a new format. The first time that we've used this stream service, and so I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're doing two things today. Actually, three. One, we're using a new format where we are going to record for video and for audio. So we'll be able to upload this to YouTube as well as push it over to our fans on podcast. And today I'm really excited because we've got a guest, first time guest, someone that I have followed on Instagram for a while and admired the post. And she is going to talk to us about planning for Disney in particular, well, just general planning, but also now because of COVID and some of the restrictions and different things like that going on. So she'll be able to assist us and answer questions and things like that. If you are still interested in making Walt Disney World part of your travel plans this year, so hang around for that. That's going to be a really nice conversation. Now, we are strongly coming up on 1,500 followers on Instagram. So go out, add your name to that list. Follow us on Instagram at My Disney Brain. You can do the same on Facebook as well as Twitter. So My Disney Brain, BRAIN. You can find us there, and also our website. If you are looking to plan like what we're going to be talking about today, you can always go to My Disney Brain for a wealth of information on planning tips, as well as updates to the parks, news, attraction updates and things like that. All that information is always out on our blog. So please go and subscribe. We really would appreciate it. So I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time because I really want to talk to our guest today. I follow her, as I said, on Instagram, and her tag is Diz Girl Magic. Somehow I get close to always saying Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Disney.
Oh.
When I see you, I always think about Dominique. When I see Diz and Girl together, yeah. She's super sweet. And I have to tell you a story, but Dominique was one of the first people that I met when I first started podcasting, and we made a strong attempt to work together. But anyway, I'll tell you a story later. But yeah, I see that and I always think about Dominique, but it is Diz Girl Magic. And her name is Andrea, and she's going to talk to us today about planning in terms of, our trips to the park. So I have a short bio that I kind of want to read, and then I'm going to let her, because there's so much more I'm sure that we're going to talk about today. So her full name, can I get a full name, or just Andrea's fine? I don't want anybody looking you up.
Andrea's fine. It's fine. You can give my full name. You can give my full name.
I was like, maybe not give the whole name.
You can give my full name. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Andrea Pugh-Kelley grew up loving Disney, as her family always took annual trips to Disney from Saginaw, Michigan. That is a road trip.
It's a road
Bless
trip.
your heart for it.
It's a road trip.
What is that? How many hours is that?
About 18.
Okay. Well, for a kid, that's a long time.
If you drive in the night, then it's like, you get to sleep and wake up at the gates of Disney.
Yeah.
So it's
smart parents.
Very smart
parents.
Very
yeah, and you don't have to feed anybody on the way. It's funny how nobody has to use the restroom while they're asleep.
Exactly. Right.
Well, to get away from stress of her studies as a PhD candidate at Florida A&M University, Andrea enjoys spending time at the parks with her husband and siblings. She's also a Disney travel agent for Mickey Vacations. Andrea's goal is to take the stress out of planning so that we can fully enjoy our magic and our memories at the park. So that's who we're going to be talking to today. And of course, I'm going to have her information, whatever suitable contact information for her, for you to follow up should you want to reach out to Andrea to utilize any of her services. But today, we're going to hear directly from her. I'm going to ask a few questions on how and why and when and what's going on, so we all get a feel for what's what. And like I said before, if you feel like Disney's still in your travel plans for this year, then Andrea would be the person to talk to so that she can guide you and get you there safely and home. So welcome aboard. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm you got all this Disney background and you can't even see my little spirit jersey. So I'm gonna have to put my ears on. I'm gonna have to put my ears on.
There you
Okay.
go. There
There we
you
go.
go.
Okay. Now
There
we
you go.
we in the mood.
Those are great.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
did you make those yourself?
No, I did not make these. These are the Little Mermaid ears from last year. Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, they are
Awesome.
from the
Awesome.
park.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, I'm sure I probably could have went on and on, with your introduction. So, what else could you expand on in terms of Miss Andrea? Any? I always like, and you can, kind of bring whatever you have, but I always like to know what brought people to Disney. I'm always curious to know that.
Okay. So, like I said, growing up, we would take at least annual road trip to Disney with my grandparents. My family is very close knit, so we all like move
Okay.
together in a bunch. So, with my grandparents, like my mom, my aunts, and I was the only child for 6 beautiful years. So, that was that was
You
a
sound like
really
my
big
daughter.
part. Yeah, that was a really big part of a highlight of the summer for sure, was taking that trip to Disney. And it's just like every trip like that I can remember, I have a very distinct memory of. And
Mhm.
that's like really important to me. And since then, since we've been traveling, like I said, it's been a big annual family trip, and my grandmother has passed in the past 4 years ago. So it's like still going to Disney like brings back, all of those great memories. And that's like one thing that I hope to instill in other families as a Disney travel agent, is just like creating those memories, because like Disney like has such a big part in my life as far as like family trip memories. We've had the craziest of stories. We lost my grandmother pre-cell phones at Disney World. It was like we
No
have
way.
it was hilarious. Like, like when a parade comes by and you like have to
Right.
stop. Yeah. So she was driving my granddad's Amigo, the little scooter, and we
Mhm.
got separated. This is pre-cell phones. So
Oh my goodness.
we lost each other for probably 5 hours. And my granddad was like, "No,
No.
we're gonna have fun. You are gonna have fun." I'm like, "Oh, lost." But yeah, so once we
Oh
all
my
found
goodness.
each other, like she had been chilling. She
Where
had
was
been
she
missing.
in the queue? She was in the queue at Space Mountain or somewhere.
Yeah, like she was like, "Oh well, I'm not about to waste my time. I'm here. Might as well enjoy it." So yeah, like we've
Oh,
had
that's
so many
great.
great memories, like as a family at Disney, and we still take trips as a family, even now that like we're all grown up. So yeah, I have a
That's
Disney
good.
loving granddad. I have a Disney loving mom, aunts, everything. We're just one
That's
big
really
crazy
good.
Disney family.
Cool. Now, I didn't ask you this before, but were you in the college program?
No, I was not. I was not. I was
Okay.
not in the college program. I would have loved to be in the college program. However, I was always in some internship. So I
Right.
never had the time to actually be in the college program.
Yeah. Yeah. I have always heard really good things about it, and my daughter, fortunately, she's in the college program, so we had a chance to, experience it through her. She had a fantastic time.
Oh wow,
Fantastic
that's
time.
great. That's great.
So when you were at Florida, I'm assuming you went to A&M undergrad, or I shouldn't assume that. Maybe you went somewhere else.
I did. I did.
You did. Okay. So you were close enough to the parks to continue your enthusiasm and your
I
ability to go.
really
Probably could go a
wasn't.
lot more than.
Um, in undergrad, I did not. I think it was
No,
still mainly, yeah. It was still mainly the family trips. I think I went on my own once. I went on my own once in undergrad, but now,
really.
yeah. But now, well, I'm an environmental science student. That's heavy, hardcore science. It's a 3.5 hour drive, so it's just a lot of factors into just scooting down to the parks. But now, my husband and I, we go more frequently. especially now that we're older, and a 4-hour drive isn't as intimidating as it would be to a 17-year-old. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely get to visit the parks more frequently. And so that's always great. And even when I was home in Michigan, I went to University of Michigan after I graduated with my undergraduate degree for my master's degree. And yeah, still continue my my parking. So it's definitely a thing in my family.
Now, was that a prerequisite for your husband to be a Disney person, or did you kind
You
of
know
bring him
what?
into the?
He actually had a confession yesterday that, and so
Mhm.
I'm just really confused, honestly. I don't know if he's actually a true diehard Disney fanatic, because
Mhm.
yesterday he admitted that he was only watching Disney Junior with me. This is in high school. We should not have been watching Disney Junior. He said that he was
Right.
only actually watching it so that he could talk to me. So
Well, okay, I'll let him slide. I'm a guy, so I understand. I
So I
understand
don't
exactly
know.
what's
I
happening.
thought that he loved Disney Junior just as much as me. So I don't know. But he's definitely a Disney fan. He's definitely Lion King, Mulan. That's his thing.
Okay, well, cool. But he definitely is a Disney person now. So when you're going, you guys are all going together.
Oh yeah, he's trying to figure out how we're about to break our quarantine and go. But I'm in public health,
Yeah,
so we're chilling. We're chilling.
yeah. We had a big trip planned for this year, and we just decided we're gonna kind of wait. Which
Yeah.
brings me into what you do now. Um, so tell us how you got into being a travel agent, number one, and then specifically what you do for Disney, because I don't think I've ever heard. Was it Mickey Vacations?
Yeah, so it's Mickey Vacation, which is through Academy Travel. So I got involved because I I got involved because I was always the go-to person, like, hey Andrea, like I'm headed to Disney World. What should I know? What should I do? What about this dining? What about this resort? And my mom was just always like, okay, you need to make some money from this. Like, and I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to charge people for doing fast passes. Like, I know people do it, but I just couldn't figure out a way to consciously
Right.
do that. So I started looking into becoming a Disney travel agent, and I kind of looked to see exactly what travel agency I would feel comfortable working for. And I went ahead and applied to Academy Travel, and I was interviewed and hired. So I'm a travel agent with Academy Travel, and there's absolutely no cost to booking with us, which is great because, like I said, I didn't know how do I charge like for making a fast pass. Whereas now,
Right.
Commission, which most people don't know. So commission is actually built into any Disney vacation package, whether you use a travel agent or not. So whether you use our services, which traditionally would include booking your fast passes, depending on the travel agent. But for me, booking your fast passes, booking your Magical Express, your
Hmm.
dining, a plethora of services, being your go-to for Q&A, tips, travel planning, scheduling, all of that. Like whether
Right.
you do it on your own or use a travel agent, the commission's in there regardless. So there's absolutely
Yeah.
no
So you're
cost.
paying, so you may as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you might
Cool.
as well use a travel agent. And so with me, to encourage that a little bit more, for some people that are like, I can do it myself. I actually offer different incentives. Most of the time, like a Disney gift card, which is given at the time of travel based on
Hmm.
like the cost of the trip. So that usually like wins people over that are like, oh no, I got it. Or sometimes we think we're experts, but there might be
Right.
something that we still haven't experienced. And even myself, like my husband and I, every time that we've been going, and for the past probably like 6 trips, we've like been trying to just find something else that we haven't done or haven't tried. And so my
Yep.
big 4th of July trip, I was about to knock off a whole lot of restaurants that I still haven't been to. So that was really
Right.
painful, like seeing all those restaurants that I scored, and I couldn't go to them. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm going to back to that. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you something about me. I obviously a big Disney fan, but I don't want to get too far off topic. But I want to ask you this question. I've never stayed on property. I've never stayed on property, and I just can't make myself make it make sense. And this is what I mean. So you've been out of the country perhaps to like an all-inclusive or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you travel in the States, obviously no all-inclusive. So we are a family of 5. Now my daughter is out on her own now, but before we were doing a lot of traveling, it's 5 of us. And for
Yeah.
the most part, a family of 5, if you notice, Disney will always promote these, ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. But there's always a family of 4.
Right. The
It is
American
very
dream.
different when it's 5. It's very
Yes,
different,
it is.
almost to like you need to get another room different, and which that's part of it. But the other part is this. I'll be very honest with you. I love the resorts. I go to Polynesia every time I go. I eat there. We go and hang out. We walk. We solicit. We go to the resorts. We just don't literally stay there.
Right.
And in Orlando, there's a plethora of wonderful places that are less than half the price of some of the places I want to stay in Disney. So that's why I say I've never really made it make sense for me until this year, because we had this big celebration. We're going to stay at Polynesia, have Animal Kingdom. And I wasn't even going to look at the bill. I was just going to be like, all right, just go.
Yeah.
But I am looking at the bill and I see 5 people. I know I can get a number of rooms here versus 1 room there. And I still have to pay for the food and the other things. So I'm not deterred. I don't ever deter. Yeah. I don't deter people from going because I love it. I love to go to Boma and eat. I absolutely do the monorail tours for the holidays and see the trees. It's fantastic. And the properties are just breathtaking. But when I get to the rooms and I know I've got 5 folks and I know the room is set up for a family of 4 or something like that comfortably, it just I haven't convinced myself to do it yet. When I can go down the street and spend a third of that money, and we're spread. I mean, 2 TVs, couple rooms, we're spread out.
3 bedroom, balcony. Yeah.
So
my family definitely went through the same thing. Like I said, I was the only child for 6.5 marvelous years, and so we always stayed on property. That was like the coolest thing ever, was to come home and like see that like my grandparents had went to AAA and like booked a vacation. Like that was my highlight.
Oh, man.
So when I was younger, it was like, okay, I'm the only kid, everybody else is old. So we were staying on property. It was no big deal. But then my brother and sister came along, and I didn't even realize they had never stayed on property until 2 years ago. And I felt bad because I was just taking them on a getaway trip. They were in high school at the time, and I was at home in Michigan, and I was like, let's just go to Orlando. Let's go to Disney World for the weekend. So we went for the weekend, and we stayed at All-Star Movies. I did not consider that they had never stayed on property before. So, well, no, they had stayed on property before for a conference at Coronado Springs. So still kind of different.
Right.
I didn't realize like that was their first like true property experience. But I definitely agree as far as finding that value. It's definitely a give and take. So for my family, like I said, we're a big family. We travel together. So it can be 8 or 9 of us. So it's like it got to the point where getting a timeshare was more convenient. There was more room. You could cook and all of that.
Yes.
So it's really, just give and take. You stay on property, you get free transportation from the airport, you get extra magic hours, you can get the dining plan, you can you get your free magic bands, it's just really a matter of give and take.
You used to be able to get the magic band.
Still will get free magic bands until January 1st.
Okay, say that again because that's part of educating our folks. So
Yes.
I reported a few weeks ago that this was changing. So you tell us what the deal is.
Yeah, so Magic Bands will still be given complimentary through the end of the year. Starting next year, Magic Bands will not be free. You can still purchase them, and I believe hotel guests will be given a discount on purchasable Magic Bands. But it'll be moving over to like a phone system, similar to like Marriott hotels. I
Yeah,
think where you
touch.
like,
Yeah, the touch one.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hilton does that. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's really cool. Well, it's not totally touchy because you still got to turn the knob, but you don't have the
yeah,
key and all this other jazz.
right.
Um, well, let me ask you a very important question before I get back to business. What's your favorite resort?
I think I have to say Animal Kingdom Lodge. I think I have to say Animal Kingdom Lodge.
It's hard not to,
Um,
right?
like, how can you not? There's animals. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's animals. Like, I want to say, I haven't stayed at Polynesian yet. So, Polynesian was I wanted to do a split trip for the 4th of July, but we had decided since everything was going on, if we were going to still be able to go, that we weren't going to do it for this trip. So we were staying at the Swan. I love the Swan and Dolphin. But yeah, Polynesian's on my list to go to. But Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom Lodge, top.
Well, Animal Kingdom Lodge, like, um, it just has the wow factor.
Yeah, like
When you walk into the lobby, it's like, especially in the holidays, it's forget about it. It's
right.
yeah, it's super great. But anyway, let's get back on track. So what I wanted to do is kind of offer guests an opportunity to kind of understand what's going on now. So obviously, Florida's been in the news for not the right reasons, and folks who live outside Florida are hearing it, I'm sure, concerned, I'm certain, and are trying to figure out, hey, should I hang on these reservations? And if so, what am I doing here? So I pick up the phone and I call Andrea. What's your advice to folks who are trying to travel these days to the parks?
I was giving more detailed advice and opinions at the beginning of this. Because I never would have ever, and I'm in public health, I never would have ever predicted that this would have lasted this long. So I have clients that were traveling like 2 days after the closure started, because that was spring break. That was like high season for us. And they had to cancel, obviously. And we were like, oh, just push it back to mid-April. Okay? Like, that'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Mid-April came. That didn't work out. They've rescheduled again. That didn't work out. So now they're going in, I think 3 weeks, this particular client. So I'm just at the point of, explaining, this is what's going on as far as, experiences that might not be offered at the parks, but this is what, they're doing instead type deal. But it's really about you just being comfortable with whatever decision it is that you make. So I've done a slew of cancellations, to be honest.
Really?
I've done a lot of moving back, pushing back vacations, keep pushing it back, and a lot of rebooking for 2021. So it's really just a matter of being comfortable with whatever it is you decide. I am not in any way giving any more advice as to, what exactly it is you should do, because I myself can't even say what I would do. I had, like I said, a 4th of July trip planned for myself, and I hung on to it forever. Like I just didn't go. Couldn't make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we had a trip scheduled it was just a getaway trip, but we were going to go to the Grove Resort and Spa, because the parks were not even open.
Love the Grove. Like,
we were looking at it when it was first being built, and
yeah.
I'm on the mailer, so I was like, you know what, this is a great place to go. Let our hair down. We haven't been out in a while, but when we booked, everything was okay.
Yeah.
And then the closer it got to the date for us to go, those numbers are going up and up and up. And I was like, I don't know if I want to truck 8 people to Florida.
Yeah.
And listen, if we go into a secured place and we have food and we don't have to you minimize our time going in and out, then that's one thing.
It's one
But
thing,
when
right?
you're at a resort and you can't mandate people wearing masks and there's elevators and these sorts of things.
Exactly. And so, that's really what I had to get to, because the parks were not going to be open at that point for the 4th of July. I really thought Disney was going to pull a Universal and be like, just kidding, we're opening up just for resort guests only, but that didn't happen. So that was like my dream scenario. But I just kept trying to make it work in my head. I'm like, well, we can just do this. No, there was no kitchen in the room. It's the Swan. So it's really about, what you're comfortable with. That's all I can say at this point. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe a better way to broach it is this. I watch, probably as you do, a number of vloggers that have been in and out of the park since they opened up. And there's some consistencies between what they're reporting. I think we all saw that SeaWorld probably fell on their face because everybody reported that theirs was completely out of control. No social distancing. People are not enforcing the mask and these sorts of things. So hopefully that's gotten better. But in terms of Universal, they seem to come out swinging. They were,
Yes,
doing
they
really
did.
well.
Yes.
They were doing really well. And then Disney Springs opened that week. Actually, I think before Universal did, Disney Springs did. And so Disney Springs, it was doing good. It was doing good. But the parks hadn't opened yet. So now here come the parks. And from what I could see across the board, the reports were, the parks felt safe to the folks that were going.
Right.
But the experience was different. And most of the vloggers that I follow recommended that if you could wait, just wait, because being an annual pass holder and living in Florida and being able to drive there any day you want to is different than coming from Saginaw or from Atlanta or Tallahassee.
Right. And so the bulk of my clients, and that's what I'm dealing with now, because the bulk of my clients are from Saginaw. Like, that's my base, is, people from home that know me for being the girl that's always at Disney World.
Right.
So it's just really hard, because I want you to be able to take your vacation, but at the same time, it's like,
you want them to have a good time.
I don't know if that's the experience I want you to have, So especially for people that it's your first time, and some of my clients, like, it's a once in a lifetime trip. Like, this is the Disney trip. So it's like,
hold on. Let me ask you this from a travel standpoint. Do you know any specifics, changes? Like, before we mentioned for the hotel guests, one of the changes is that starting soon, I forgot the date you gave, July, for the magic bands that they're gonna fade them out for hotel guests complimentary. That piece is going away. Okay, so that's one change, definite change. Another change, for example, is when you go into the parks now, temperature checks, and not just if your temperature is off, your whole group's getting pulled.
Yeah.
Not just you, like your whole group will get pulled.
Yeah.
So we try to provide like different aspects of what's going on now, so people will know what to expect. From a travel side, do you get news updates and things like that specifically from the parks, from Disney, and says, hey, okay, here's kind of the one sheet, here's the breakdown? Because on the Disney Parks website, they had all these, here's what you go. Know before you go. Exactly. And do you have something like that on the travel side?
So it's pretty much the same. We might get it a little bit before it's released to the public, but it's definitely the same. It'll be like, here's our new know before you go. And then sometimes, like, a couple of those might come out before it's like the final version goes to the public. So, things are just changing very quickly. Another thing, like, we don't have park hopping right now. And we're just being told, like, just wait for it to come back. It'll come back. We don't have dining plans right now, so it's a wait for it
No
to come.
fast passes.
No fast passes, no dining plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different time right now.
Yeah.
I guess if the virus was not a factor, then I would personally, I would love to be at the parks right now. Honest, I mean, who wouldn't? They're like empty. I'm like, people would
Yeah.
pay $1 billion to be at the parks right now with that crowd level, but it's
Oh my
it's
God.
definitely a time to just, it can wait. It can really wait.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because here's what I'm thinking. If I could just transport into the park and then back home, yeah,
Yeah,
great. But at some point, I'm gonna have to leave the park and go into Florida
exactly.
and get food and get gas and go to a hotel and these sorts of things. That's probably the scariest part because
Exactly.
that's not Disneyfied. That's like just Florida.
Exactly. And that's the issue. So,
Yeah.
it's just the frustration of you can only do your part. Everybody keeps comparing it to like a group project in school. That's really what it is. Like,
It is. It's
you
funny you said that.
I
I
hated
use the
group
same
projects. I
example.
still hate group projects. I hate this group project because you can only,
Yeah.
you can only do for yourself. So it's really hard with Disney. I haven't been since the week before Valentine's Day, I think, and that was just a quick weekend trip. I'm running low on pixie dust over
Oh
here.
my God. If you're we bypassed last year.
Okay.
And we go every year for my birthday. My daughter's down there. We went a lot more. And so last year we just decided to hold off. We're going to make a really big deal this year. And then this. So yeah, we're really, really running low.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. How do people get in contact with you if they want to utilize your services? And part B, having planned trips, because I get the feeling that for your husband, for your extended family, you're still the planner.
Yes.
You're still the planner.
Still the
So,
planner.
yeah. So, how much easier? I already know the answer. How much easier is it to have someone like you doing it versus someone, even if they're a Disney fan, still someone like you, I got to guess, is going to be better for them.
So especially on a time like this, I wish I could like screen share right now so I could show all of my screenshots of my call times with Disney. When the park reservation system launched, I spent in one day, it was like 11 hours and 45 minutes on the phone. Like,
Oh my.
and 11 hours and let's just say 15 minutes of that was on hold listening to Small World over and over and over. So if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what can, because I handle all of that waiting and calling. All of that I handle for all my clients. So none of my clients had to call for any rescheduling, rebooking,
Right.
or any technical issues. I definitely bear the pain of all of that.
You took care of all of it. So the
It's not
cancellation,
yeah,
the
it's not
refunds.
anymore. Yes, cancellations, refunds. I did all of that because our we were on booking freeze for a couple months. So even if you had a reservation, we couldn't touch it. So when that gate opened up, yeah, it was 11 hours and 40 minutes, and it was like I
Yeah.
was on hold like for 6 hours at least each day for about a week, and that was just me going through getting all my clients settled. So yeah, even with the most expert Disneyer ever, there's always like a little something of benefit, even if it's just like my booking incentives. Sometimes that's what gets Disney fans. They're like, oh well, might as well, I don't have to make my dining reservations, I don't have to call anybody, and I get some money. Okay, well, fine, she can book it, and you're supporting a
You know
small
what?
business. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, we are going to have Andrea's information plastered across our Instagram page and Facebook page and our website, so that you will be able to reach out to her and ask whatever questions you have. Book for 2021. That's kind of where my head is right now.
yeah.
I've pretty much kind I haven't given up, but I'm seeing what's going on. I'm being realistic about 2020. And so it's fine. I mean, as long as the parks are still operating and moving forward, that's all good. They've done it for a number of years without me, and they'll do it this year. And then next year we'll just make it that much more special. That's kind of, it's kind of where my head is.
Right.
But let me ask you something. In terms of, this is what I want to say. At some point we'll have you back because I want to just talk a complete show about dining. I know so many people who don't understand the concept of Disney dining.
Yeah.
Nor do they realize the amount of food, the quality of food that takes place at Disney World. They don't get it. It's like
because you think theme
mind.
park and not Disney. So, when you go to Six Flags or something, you're getting a hot dog, chicken tenders, and a fry, maybe a burger and a drink. So I think people really get that into their mind. And even like when I'm selling the Disney plan or like the dining plan or like, encouraging someone to add that on, they're like, oh no, I don't want to be eating the same stuff over. There's hundreds of restaurants. So
they don't get
any of my clients that, had the budget or whatever to be able to add a dining plan, they're hooked. Like they're sold. Like they won't go without a dining plan. So
I'm going to make it hard for you. I'll make it hard for you. So when we come back and talk, because my family, with the exception of my wife, is plant-based. So we went to Disney for years as carnivores. So it was easy.
Yeah.
But for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, we've been plant-based. And so it takes the turkey leg and things that were traditions for us, it takes that out of the mix. And so we've had to replace it with other things. So I want to invite you back on at some point and let's just talk dining and just help people through that process, because I get a lot of questions like you. I'm not an agent like you are, but family, friends, people who know I'm a Disney person. And I tried to explain it to them. Bless your heart. You even said Six Flags was theme park. I live in Atlanta. I don't even call it theme park. It's just like
amusement park. Amusement. No,
yeah, because I'm like, I said, this is not Six Flags. That's how I start off explaining to people.
Right.
Disney is not Six Flags.
And I'm from Michigan, so Cedar Point is like top tier. Like, it's Cedar Point, and I'm like, no, Cedar Point is as big as the parking lot. Like, you're not about to get through all of this, and you've never been to Disney World before in 2 days of a trip with no, this is not Cedar Point. So it's definitely hard. Go ahead.
To explain to somebody that doesn't know it, has never been, we've done blogs, we've done podcasts. I literally tell people how to walk like 30 days ahead of time, buy your shoes that you want to wear on vacation, walk around your neighborhood, do at least a mile a day, every other day. Because when you get to the park and it's hot, like Florida hot.
No, seriously.
I'm like, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it.
I never realized like the first time I realized like how strenuous Disney actually was my bachelorette party. So I invited all of my friends, and I thought, you know how trips go. People say they're gonna go, but they don't go. They always flake off. So my friends, for the most part, all ended up coming. It was 17 of us.
Oh my.
Yeah. So that's a lot for trying to like get people moving
through the parks,
and it was September. It was hurricane season, so it was really hot. Food and Wine Festival, so we were dead. Like a lot of my friends had never been to Disney World before, so I was like so pressured to like make this the most
good
like
time,
amazing trip ever. I made everybody custom shirts, and we had custom backpacks, and I just wanted like the full experience going on. And we were dead. We overslept, and we couldn't decide which 2 parks we were going to go to. And I'm a 4 parks 1 day type of person, but I have it down to a science. And I thought I could just make that happen with 17 people.
No.
And we did it, but I wrote a blog about it. I mean, you would have thought we were like 75 years, not even 75, because my granddad can do it. 150 years old. Like we just could not. By the time, so we started off at Animal Kingdom, and then we went to Epcot. That was like going to be our lunch break because it was Food and Wine Festival. Okay, that was where we went wrong, because Epcot is always going to drain all your energy because there's no shade, there's no trees, there's nothing. It's just open sun. So then we did food and wine, and everyone was tired. Like we were tanned, we were exhausted, heat exhausted. We pushed on through, got to Hollywood Studios. Half of the crew missed the bus to get like from Epcot to Hollywood Studios. And it was like, we have to push on to Magic Kingdom. We have to see the fireworks. Like, I'm not bringing my friends here and not seeing the fireworks. And they're all like, no, we're tired. Like, we're good. It's okay. I'm like, no, we have to see the fireworks. So I was a tyrant, and we definitely saw the fireworks, and we passed out like right at the benches, like in Frontierland. Like we were asleep back there. But
oh my goodness,
it's just hard to explain to someone that has never been before. And I think that was a very eye-opening experience for me, because I usually travel with my family, in which like the park like the back of my hand. Everybody's used to it. Like I never noticed like how big the parks were. I never noticed like how transportation is, as far as like moving from point A to point B, because I'm just used to my like Disney Pro family, in which is like, okay, y'all know the drill.
Right.
So it's definitely.
Well, the other thing is you don't know the shape that people are in. You don't know, like some people can't stand in the queue. Like there's no fast pass. Standing for long periods of time, some people can't do that. And I try to explain to people that's part of it. That's part of it. I mean, your legs have got to be good. And if they're not, you're not going to have a magical
It's so funny, because my granddad, he was in a car accident before I was born. So he's been on crutches my entire life. He just started, we were forcing him to use an Amigo. This was just like within the last 10 years. He was doing like the parks on crutches. Like he's not a complainer. Never complained, nothing. But I noticed like looking back, I noticed what his little trick was. He would always have us stop like at a gift shop or something. I could buy whatever, but it was really him taking a break. So breaks are also very important. But my granddad has been on crutches my entire life, and he would thug Disney out. And that's how we lost my grandmother, because we tried to get him the scooter, and he was, he's like, no, I got it. And she was like, shoot, I'll take it. And then we lost her within 5 minutes. So
she was gone.
So it's definitely something to prepare for. And I try to prepare my clients as much as possible. I've never had anybody that was like overwhelmed. They always, if anything, they think like I was doing too much. They're like, oh no, we thought that you were over exaggerating. Like, no, like I'm going to get you prepared. Like it's going to be a cakewalk, but you got to.
Well, having said all that, let me ask you this. So we're always assuming that someone hasn't been. If they're watching this, if they're listening to this, if they're reading our blogs, what's your best advice for first timers? Let's, we can mix in some of the COVID stuff, but let's assume a normal stay. What's your best advice for folks? Like I told you before, I would tell people who've never gone to begin to prepare them physically, because if you don't feel good, for me, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah,
and I see so many times. Well, you've been in the parks and you see people like, for me, Animal Kingdom. I don't know if they've got a thermostat in the ground. It's always hotter in Animal Kingdom.
The Disney weather control.
Oh my God, it is hot. So we walked in the park. This is about 2 years ago, and we were down in April, so it wasn't really hot yet. Mm-hmm. It was a family, and God bless them, they were a little heavier. Mm-hmm. And man, it wasn't even noon, and they were sucking wind. And I just thought, but they're not gonna have a good time. You spend all this money, and you come in, and they look like they were in discomfort. They were sweating profusely. They were leaning up, because in Animal Kingdom, you first walk, it's really nowhere to sit. You got to sit down.
Yeah,
like you got to walk around. You got to make your way around the Tree of Life stuff. They were leaning up against, it wasn't a good look. And I just thought, God bless them. They come out, I don't know where they're from, but I just
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah, no, that's definitely me too. Like when I see a family, like a frustrated family, or like when I see someone like me, I can sleep in now. I mostly don't, but I can like stroll into the park at 2 o'clock if I feel like it. But I hate like seeing a family pulling into the park,
yeah,
like, and the day's over. Like it's not Six Flags. So I would say that the biggest thing that I would say as far as planning a trip is don't rush your trip. I get so many quote requests for a 2 night vacation. And I think that also stems from, Disney is just not comparable to anything that's, in most states. So they can't really conceptualize what it is. And a lot of people don't know that, there's 4 parks. It's not just the one with the castle. There's 4 parks. So so the
the one
things that
with
you
the
see
cat.
on TV aren't going to be just in one park.
Yeah,
So really it like just making sure if it's feasible to make sure that you're not rushing your trip. Like I would say my most popular trips are a 4 night 5 day vacation, and even that's comfortable. um if you have a hopper, then you can do a little hopping with 3 park days, an arrival day, a departure day. um right now we're not park hopping, so it might be a little different. You have to pick
yeah,
3, leave out 1. But I would definitely say that's a comfortable vacation. With my bachelorette party, no, we did 2 nights, and I did that because I wanted to respect everybody working. I didn't want to have people taking off. But as far as a Disney trip, at like just no, no,
yeah.
like
I always tell people, besides the physical piece of it, really planning.
yeah,
Like sometimes people go places and plan may just consist of getting in your room, making sure the car is gassed up because you're just going to the beach. It's not a big
right,
deal.
right, right,
No fast pass to get at the beach. But Disney requires planning
yeah,
if you want to have a good time. Now,
yes,
if you've not picked up already, I'm a type A. So uh, I'm up and we're rope dropping because
yeah.
we're going to maximize this experience.
We
Now,
rope drop in our head,
no,
but
we're rope
the
dropping.
translation it's not always
Oh,
there.
no.
I'm gonna make sure my clients do it, but as for me, in my head, I'm rope dropping. But
Well, once we move there, have a house and we can hang out for a few months out of the year and come back to Atlanta, maybe.
yeah,
But when we go, we're there for a certain amount of time. We want to maximize it.
exactly.
So I always tell folks to really just plan.
Hmm.
Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? In order to do that, you've got to plan to do it. Getting
Exactly.
on Seven Dwarfs is a plan.
Oh,
It's
for
not
sure.
going to happen any other way. It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
just hanging out and hoping you're going to ride. You got to plan that. And
Hmm.
so if you want to see castle projection shows and things like that, you got to plan this kind of stuff. And so I always tell people just to plan, but with your services, you can actually do the planning for them. So do you put together a complete package for them based on, you just kind of getting to know what some of their requirements are?
Yeah. So it starts off with completing the quote request form. From there, like it asks about what's your budget, projected date. So I can kind of from there I can get a feel for okay, what type of experience they're looking for. And then I put together a couple different quotes. You go ahead and pay the deposit. It's a
Mhm.
$200 deposit if you're staying on property. Balance is due 30 days out. So, depending on how far out the vacation is, I've had people literally, contact me 3 days before and they're like, I just found a cheap flight. Can you make something happen? And I've made it happen. So it's not even a matter of when you do the planning. You just have to do the planning. So I depending on the client, I do make like schedules. Depending on the client, that determines how detailed it is. If
Mhm.
my client, like if it's a single mom traveling with 3 kids, yeah, it's probably not going to be that detailed because you got to factor in bathroom breaks and things like that. But I'll still go into the account and like add in notes, like don't forget to go here, don't forget to go there. You can add notes in your My Disney Experience app. So not every client needs a, bullet
Yeah.
point. When you walk in,
Everybody's not like me. Everybody's
yeah, when
not
you
type
walk in, take 30 paces east. Yeah, it's not always that deep. So I really ask the client, like, what is it that you want? Do you want me to make you a minute by minute schedule? Like, what do you want? But for the most part, I don't have to do that. I definitely put in a lot of notes in their My Disney Experience app. So when they're going through the day and they see like their fast passes pre-COVID, they can like see like, oh, okay, so she said after the fast pass, check out this, check out that. So I try to make it where it's not like
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like where
I
it's
didn't
not
think
so
about that.
strict. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's
I
good.
know a lot of people do charge for like schedules and things like that. I usually try to just give some wiggle room because I also don't want people stressing out over a schedule. So like
Yeah.
there's so many little things that you could end up getting stressed out about, and like meeting a schedule just isn't that. Now missing your fast pass, that's a different issue. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely depends on the client and what they request. Now my Disney expert clients, they don't want me to do a full schedule for them. They know,
They'll
yeah, they're
yeah.
like, no, I got this. So
Well, you know what? I've never used a travel agent for Disney or anything, and
mhm.
we've traveled pretty extensively. And I've always fancied the idea of utilizing an agent. um, but for some reason, I just haven't done it. I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
control thing or if I just
yeah.
don't trust it.
Hmm.
So tell the folks, just kind of a summary why they can go with you, why that's worth it, and then just kind of roll into how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, yeah. So I would definitely say I was the same way. It was always like, why would I use the travel agent? And I always had this like conceived notion that they charge like a fee
Yeah, on
on
top of
top
what?
of booking. And there is travel agents that charge a fee on top of booking. But with Academy Travel and Mickey Vacations, we're a diamond earmarked agency. Um, we're actually Disney travel agents. So there are some people that are like pyramid scheme, marketing ploy people. They're
Yeah,
most likely going to charge you. But when you're working with an actual official Disney travel agent, we get paid out of commission. So there's absolutely no charge for any of the services. On top of the fact that, Disney's not going to give you a $50 Disney gift card for booking with them. You're only going to get those services from a Disney travel agent or, Sam's Club, but then Sam's Club's not going to book your fast passes. They might give you a deal, but they're not booking your fast passes. So
no.
it's definitely like having a concierge service without paying anything extra for your vacation. And
And you
like I
answer
said,
the phone.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And so,
literally, if they're in the park and say, "Hey, Andrea, I don't understand how to do X, Y, Z," you
yes.
actually answer the phone.
Yeah, and for the most part, I follow my clients, especially when they're first time, I follow them through their experience. Like day of, I'm like, hey, ready to go? Are
You
we
almost
good?
got me sold on wanting to be an agent because I would like to
Yes.
do
Yeah,
that.
no, for sure. For sure. I can definitely get you that information. But it's like, it's fun for me too, because like I said, like I have so many amazing memories, like growing up with our family vacations that I want to like project that energy to everybody else
Yeah,
that I touch because I hate seeing people like families in the park complaining or, frustrated that the wait's 2 hours and they don't know they didn't know what a fast pass was. They just
yeah.
they were staying at a hotel in the area and they just thought that just walking up to the park was going to be enough. I hate seeing that. So it's really about like my passion, like project for Disney, projecting into creating lifelong memories for all my clients. So I try to do my best in that. I give like little care packages, gift packages for the kids. Like on a cruise, a Disney cruise, I might deliver something to the room. So yeah, you're not gonna get that with just going online and
No, you
logging
won't.
into Disney. So, and I mean, like I said, I've probably spent at this point over 20 hours on hold um, with Disney. And we're like I said, we're a diamond earmarked agency. So we have our own diamond earmarked line. We're not even in the general queue for travel agents or the general public. Like, we have our own line, and it's been that long. So I would definitely say my clients have definitely appreciated that they booked with me and they're not sitting on the phone. If nothing more, then they're not, they're not sitting on the phone. And I'm definitely always an ear if you have any questions. During your travel, I'm there. I'm always on my phone, like, when my clients are traveling. So it's definitely, I would say, like having a free concierge service.
Well, what's your email? What's your phone? What's the easiest way to get for folks to get a hold of? Now, of course, we're going to take this and post it on our social sites, but just the event somebody's in their car listening to this and they want to jot it down, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
So you can access my quote request form by going to disgirlmagic.com/travel. So that's DISGIRL magic.com/travel. My email is Andrea.Pugh-Kelley, that's KELLEY, at mickeyvacations.com. I also have a link, I believe, to my email on my Instagram, which is DizGirlMagic, and my phone number is 989-980-2196. And quotes are always free. Well, everything's free. There's no cost for anything. It's a $200 deposit when you're staying on property. We also book Disney Good Neighbor resorts. Like, the Grove is actually a Good Neighbor resort. I might have lied. It's not a Good Neighbor resort.
Well, I said, agreeing with you. But what I was thinking is, it's such a great place. Maybe we'll have to come back and talk about that.
We have to come back and talk about that. So I stayed at the Grove. I was one of the first people to stay at the Grove, actually. My family was absolutely amazing hotel. We haven't been back, but that was 2017. But yeah, I also book off-property. I book off-property as well as Disney Good Neighbor resorts. I also book Universal vacations. I book cruises, all-inclusive resorts.
I was gonna say, you do more than Disney, right? So
yeah,
folks
I do more than Disney.
about that.
Yeah, so I also don't charge for any of those other destinations. There's already commission built in, so there will be no extra charge for any vacation. With the Universal, if you book with a travel agent, then regardless if you're staying on property or not, you get the early access to the park. So that's a automatic added bonus there. So yeah.
Well, here's what I can say. One of the reasons why I wanted to have Andrea on is because of her energy, as you can hear. When I initially reached out, she was very receptive. And one of the things that I'm thinking, if I had a travel agent, I would want them to be one, as vested as I am in making sure my trip was a success. And it sounds like you are. And two, one, a subject matter expert. The one thing I do not like is to be in an area where I know more than this person's supposed to know.
Exactly.
And you sound like you were either in the college program, you worked in the park, you know as much. Believe you me, I know a lot of folks that like Disney, and you are in that group. And if you had said, hey, well, I'll give you an example. A lot of times people who know me say, were you in the military? But it's because I display certain characteristics that remind people in the military.
Yes.
You display characteristics of either cast member, someone's been trained in a Disney fashion. Because what you're telling me is, like, you're giving families, extra above and beyond type service. And that's what those cast members do that are there. So, guys, if you're looking for an agent, and again, she does more than Disney.
Yes, I do.
Universal, you can do cruises, you can do, I guess, Royal and whoever.
You can do whatever. You see, I have on my Paris Disneyland.
Oh,
shirt,
cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, I want to thank you, Andrea, for
thank you for having me.
You have an open invitation. We got at least 2 podcasts on the table now. We got dining.
We need to talk about off-property resorts.
Off-property.
Yes.
Starting with the Grove.
Yes, starting with the Grove. That's my number one.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I don't know how I got on this guy's list, but he called me one day. He was a salesperson or something. And I told you I was down there quite often this year. It probably was 2017 early because Imani was in that program. And he said, why don't you come by and I'm going to walk you through the place? They were still building it.
Same. Yeah,
walked
they were still
all the
building
way
when we
through.
were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, it's a fantastic place. So let's do this. Let's close out in a fun way. A quick response. First thing comes to your mind. I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and then we'll
Oh
close it
boy.
out. Favorite park?
I can't answer that.
Oh,
I can't. I keep asking my husband this question. Like, I can't answer that.
so I asked you the hard one first, huh? Favorite park. All right, is this going to get harder? Favorite attraction?
Do shows count as attractions?
We'll let it count for you.
Okay, Festival of the Lion King.
Yeah. Favorite dining, favorite quick dining.
Flame Tree Barbecue.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't thinking that.
What's your favorite?
Again, it's changed. My favorite sit down was I always call this place Beast Castle because my kids
Be our guest.
Be our guest. I love the place. I absolutely love it. But quick, I don't know. I don't know now. I really don't. Because quite honestly, my favorite places are at Disney Springs because
sure,
I can get more plant-based options there that I know of. And they're not just sides. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people say, oh yeah, you're a vegetarian, you're vegan, you just eat the sides.
We get some corn.
Yeah, some corn has been slathered in butter.
Exactly.
Let's see. Oh, I think that's it. It. But yeah, I really appreciate it. We've kind of gone over our time a little bit. I thank you so much. I know you got to go back and study. You're a PhD student, and tell me again in what?
Yes, I'm a PhD student, and I'm studying environmental policy and risk management.
So she's very smart. She can be your travel agent and make sure you get in and out of your traveling safely and soundly. So please make sure you reach out to her. All of Andrea's information is going to be on our website. It's going to be on our Instagram page for the rest of the week and also on Facebook page. Andrea, thank you so much. I hope we haven't taken up too much of your time.
No, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love your energy. And listen, I'm going to send you an email. You tell me the dates that you want to come back, when you're not studying and classes and things like that. And we will make it happen because I really enjoyed this.
Thank you so much. I would love to come back.
All right. Thank you so much. And you have a great evening.
You too.
All righty. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.